Working hard to stay warm. Quick six, getting a little combed down in the warmth of his trailer. It's the BC Lions and the Calgary Stampeders on Wendy's Friday Night Football. And for the Calgary Stampeders and John Hufnagel, it's an 8th straight year in the playoffs. They will play host to the West Division semifinal against either Edmonton or Saskatchewan.
Quick six isn't the only horse looking to go for a run tonight. John Cornish, the CFL's leading rusher and a contender for the league's most outstanding Canadian award. Of course, his primary competition right there, number 33, Andrew Harris, the league's leader in yards from scrimmage with over 1,700. One of the best receiving running backs in the game. I would say these guys might be the two best running backs in the Canadian Football League.
This is the first year as the head coach of the BC Lions for Mike Benevides, but his team is into the playoffs for the 16th consecutive season. And the Lions will play host to the Western Final, and this will be their last nasty game. Back home for their final regular season game in the West Final, and then to the Grey Cup if they advance that far. The Calgary Stampeders will receive as Paul McCallum and the Lions, who have won 4 consecutive games overall against Calgary and 4 straight here. McMahon send it short, and the kickoff is picked up by Rob Cote, and Cote with a good return out across midfield to the 54-yard line. A 24-yard return for Cote, and Kevin Glenn and the Calgary Stampeder offense will get to work.
Well, Kevin Glenn will start at quarterback. Drew Tate will definitely be one to watch. He'll see his first action since July 7th tonight. Expect to see him early. We mentioned John Cornish, the CFL's rushing leader. He goes head-to-head with Andrew Harris here tonight. And of course, Mr. Consistency, Nick Lewis, leads the CFL with 95 catches.
High snap, first down fake, and they fired up to Mo Price, and Mo Price has got a first down and more as he gets across the 45-yard line of the Lions for a gain of 11. Here's Jermaine Franklin from the sidelines.
Thanks, Gord. From what I've been told, Kevin Glenn and Drew Tate are guaranteed the first 4 series. Kevin Glenn will do the first 2 offensive series. Drew Tate will get the next 2, and then John Hufnagel will make his decision as to who plays and when from there.
And Kevin Glenn coming off a tough week last week, a career-high tying 4 interceptions in that turnover fest by the Calgary Stampeders, 7 turnovers in their victory. On first down, and the first carry of the game for Cornish, who had 100 yards receiving last week. And the BC Starters to Watch brought to you by Rona, proud sponsor of the CFL and its 18.
Well, you talk a little bit about the individual competitions going on in a game like this. Karan Williams wants to maintain his lead atop the CFL sack board. Adam Bighill second in the Canadian Football League with 88 tackles, continuing his marvelous season. Ryan Phillips suddenly red hot in the secondary, 3 interceptions in his last 4 games.
And a late flag came down on the play.
There's no infraction on the play. Number 60 had checked in as an eligible end.
So Abi Khan was an eligible receiver on that play.
It's a frightening thought.
6'3", 300-pound tight end.
Well, Ryan Bombin's been doing a pretty good job of it for the Montreal Alouettes all season. I think everybody wants in on the mix, all the big boys.
Game was 6, it's 2nd and 4 for Calgary. And the blitz coming to the Lions. Glenn steps up and throws. The pass is incomplete to Nick Lewis. And the Stampeders will have to send out the kicking team. And it will be Ernie Paredes and the field goal unit coming on for a long try.
Yeah, the Stampeders start this game with a pretty good wind at their back. You got some indication of that on the opening kickoff from Paul McCallum, where he tried to drive it low. Didn't get much distance on it. Paredes having a terrific season, over 91% accuracy. The second-year man out of Concordia.
And this attempt from 46 yards out will equal his season long if he makes it. The wind slightly behind him on a crisp evening in Calgary, about -70 kickoff temperature. Paredes with the win, puts it through, and the Stampeders have the first points of the game. 3-0 Calgary leads. We're back after this. BC Lions this year, and in week 5, a 34-8 loss on home field to BC, a game in which the Lions dominated from start to finish. Tim Brown takes the kickoff from his 5-yard line. And Brown is wrapped up right away by Calgary's Cordero Law. A return of 17 yards on the kickoff as Mike Riley gets his 2nd consecutive start for BC.
Mike Riley, very impressive in his starting debut for the BC Lions here in his 3rd year. 68% completion, 276 yards, 2 touchdown passes. Andrew Harris is at running back, one of his key weapons. Leads the CFL in yards from scrimmage. And he's got G. Simon back in that receiving corps. He returns from 3 games on the shelf with a hamstring injury.
An early movement for the BC Lions would appear.
Time count violation. BC number 13. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
Just some uncertainty you could see in that BC formation, but it looks like they're going to go right back with the same call.
And 1st down, he swings it out. And the pass is complete to Tim Brown, who gets out of bounds after a gain of a couple.
On this Calgary Stampeder defense, looking to shut down the combination of Mike Riley, Andrew Harris, and the rest. Led by Charleston Hughes. He's hot on Karan Williams' tail with 10 sacks. He's 2nd in the CFL. Juwan Simpson, as usual, leads the Stampeders with 78 tackles. And Keon Raymond, Mr. Everything on defense. Last week playing Sam linebacker, named Defensive Player of the Week.
And again, flags are down before the snap.
The Lions that time appeared to have some trouble with the snap count. A couple receivers jumped early.
Offside. BC number 88. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
So Akeem Foster goes offside, and the Lions are going backwards.
Cluster of receivers motioning out to the right. Foster the lead man.
On 2nd and 12, Riley's under pressure, lost the football. Loose in the end zone, a scramble for it, and it's a touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders. And it was Malik Jackson who fell on the football, and the Stampeders have seized the early advantage against BC.
Malik Jackson came late on the blitz and got held up at the line, and I truly think this fumble has a little bit to do with the weather. Jackson's going to loop to the inside on this play. He's the latecomer going B-gap. Just tipping the ball out of Riley's hands. Makes the recovery himself. Great start for the Calgary Stampeders. A little bit of deja vu perhaps for Mike Riley, who threw an interception on his 2nd offensive play last week against Edmonton.
And for the Calgary Stampeders and Malik Jackson, that's his 3rd fumble recovery of the year. And the BC Lions had a goal this season, and that was to set the record for fewest turnovers. They had 19 coming in. That's their 20th of the season. The record is 28, shared by the 67 Ottawa Rough Riders and the 2006 BC Lions. So in the early moments of this game, Riley with a fumble, and the Calgary Stampeders looking to finally end their drought against BC. We're off to a great start.
Deja vu for Mike Riley. Troubles with his 2nd offensive play last week, throwing an interception to Edmonton's J.C. Sherritt on his 2nd offensive play a week ago. And tonight, 2nd play they get off. Malik Jackson strips him. Recovers it in the end zone for a Calgary touchdown. Now the hope for the BC Lions, obviously, is that Mike Riley rebounds this week the same way he did against the Eskimos.
Yeah, completed his next 7 passes in a row on a touchdown march for the Lions. Tim Brown takes the kickoff, and a better return this time, out close to the 40-yard line. And so Riley will go right back to work. And that's one of the things about throwing an interception for a touchdown, or in that case, fumbling for a touchdown. You have to come right back out.
Yeah, and again, you look at a week ago, an indication that that's something that Mike Riley thrives on. He knew going into that situation last week, the start of the game, they knew they wanted to push the ball downfield at some point. They were going to have opportunities to do it. I think he got it in his mind a little bit that he wanted to get right back on that horse.
Talked to his former teammate Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers this week about the keys to staying warm. Look out, miscommunication on the handoff. And he and Andrew Harris on completely different pages, and as a result, Riley has to take a loss of a couple.
That's tough to say exactly what's got the BC Lions out of sorts here. As you see, Riley opens to his right. Harris was even aligned on his left. Or maybe being a team that plays 10 out of its 18 games indoors every season is a little more rattled by the cold that's affecting their concentration early in this ball game, Gordon.
Actually marked it as a gain of 1. And on 2nd and long, Riley throws, almost intercepted again. Brandon Smith had that one right between the numbers and couldn't hang on, and that would have been 6 the other way as well.
That sure would have. Brandon Smith couldn't quite get the hands up in time. That one got in, hit him in the shoulder pads, and Mike Riley is thankful to avoid another defensive touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders.
And this is not the start that Riley wanted, with so many watching his performance with the #1 offense for the BC Lions. Jason Armstead back to take the punt for Paul McCallum. And it's a tumbling and then a kick at the 43-yard line. Flags are down. And that'll be no yards against Calgary, or BC rather, of the 15-yard variety. So this will give Calgary even better field position again.
No yards. BC number 27. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Fake to Cornish, throwing it wide again to Mo Price, and Price has got room to run. Price still going, into the defensive backfield and gone. Mo Price, touchdown Calgary. 53-yard score for Price, who last week recorded his first CFL touchdown.
You talk about a quick strike. Kevin Glenn, that wide side hitch to Mo Price, and great acceleration from the young receiver here. Watch the execution from the rest of the Calgary Stampeder receiving core and the offensive line. Everybody gets on a body. Mo Price is barely touched en route to the end zone on this one. The closest guy is the corner coming from the complete opposite side of the field. You've done a pretty good job blocking up the play.
And the Calgary Stampeders, 5.5 minutes into the first quarter, have a 17-0 lead on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
Honestly, happy anniversary to my pastor. 999 Florida, Rejoicement Lord Ministry. I love you. I love everybody down there.
And Tim Brown takes another kickoff for the BC Lions and winds his way across the 30, still going. Out to the 41-yard line, and that's where the BC offense will go back to work as Jacques Chapdelaine talks things over with a rattled Mike Riley.
Well, we saw the resiliency of Mike Riley last week. We talked about that when he came out and threw that early interception, bounced back real well. Well, the test gets a little bit tougher apparently in the second start. 17 points in the hole. He's already had a turnover himself that's gone for a Calgary touchdown, very nearly threw an interception. We'll see how this young man responds.
On first down, play fake to Brown, throws to G. Simon. The pass is incomplete. This is very atypical of the BC Lions, who are a ball possession, ball control team. They lead the league in first downs. They lead the league in average time of possession per game. In fact, in the first meeting of the year, they had the ball for better than 38 minutes, almost 39 minutes of the game. as he grounded out along the ground and chewed up the clock.
Well, and you got to remember, they're starting this game against the wind. A little bit surprised not to see Andrew Harris more involved in the early going in terms of play calling from Jacques Chapdelaine.
2nd and 10. Here comes the rush. Riley throws, and this time the pass is complete to G. Roy Simon at midfield, and that will be good for a BC first down. First of the game on a gain of 14.
Well, that's one that should help the confidence a little bit for quarterback Mike Riley. G. Roy Simon's one of the guys he'll lean on as he tries to get going in this thing. Big hit there from Keon Raymond, but Simon, the veteran, holds on.
Now 15 catches away from becoming the 3rd CFL player with 1,000 career receptions. Oh, look out. Riley fumbles the football off the snap. And gets back to the 52-yard line. Was somewhat surprised in the warm-up and during the game that Riley's not wearing gloves, Dwayne.
Yeah, and he said he didn't want to start with them. He said, I'll put them on if I need them, but he talked about different things as far as keeping the hands warm. Even the pouch, he's not necessarily crazy about it. The Lions, as we said, a team that plays most of its games indoors, and they spent a lot of time working during the week on things to get used to having cold hands, including everybody who handles the ball actually putting their hands in an ice bucket during practice.
2nd down, Riley throws, and the pass is caught by Taylor. And Courtney Taylor will be short of a BC first down as the ball is spotted at the 47-yard line. So it'll be a good 3 yards short.
Well, if nothing else for the BC Lions, moving the football a little bit on that drive, at least they can tip the field a little bit in terms of that field position exchange. The Calgary Stampeders, up till this point, have been playing on a very short field all along.
McCallum slipped, and the ball comes out, fielded at the 40-yard line by Calgary. That's a 7-yard punt that is recovered by Calgary's Tad Cornegay. And there is a flag on the play. That'll be no yards. So Cornegay, who has done it all for Calgary this year, he's played linebacker, he's played all 3 defensive backfield positions, corner, half, and safety.
2 yards. BC, number 51, 5-yard penalty. First down.
And I'll tell you, Gordon, if you watch Paul McCallum on this punt, he looks like he's trying to drop kick it. If you watch the way he lets it go out of his hands, he looks like he's trying to let it do that quick bounce, like a drop kick, and drive it down the field. And maybe his strategy as far as dealing with the wind, but...
And now Drew Tate in at quarterback for Calgary. For the first time since mid-July, he's up and throwing, and Tate is intercepted. Tate is picked off by Ryan Phillips, and the ball comes out. The Lions fumble it. Calgary gets it back. There's another turnover by the BC Lions after a turnover. And Drew Tate in the offense will remain on the field.
Yeah, good news, bad news for Ryan Phillips and the BC Lions. Phillips, his 4th interception in 5 games, but the fumble makes it all just as good as a completion for Drew Tate and the Calgary O.
And the net gain, Dwayne, is 20 yards.
Rob Cote with the hit to force the fumble. Dimitri Zumpas with the recovery.
And the fake to Cornish up the sidelines they go, and the pass is complete to Lewis. To Cornish up the sidelines. Touchdown. 44-yard touchdown for Nick Lewis. And this is all Calgary. They're going to wear out the horse.
An unbelievable start here for the Calgary Stampeders, but frankly, Gord, even more so for the BC Lions, in complete disarray on both sides of the football right now.
And Lewis managed to tiptoe up the sidelines and gets his 10th touchdown of the year. And by the way, has now caught a pass in all 157 CFL games he has played. And Quick Six, meantime, has run the equivalent of the Belmont, a mile and a half.
Tell them let me run more corner routes. 4 for 4, 2 touchdowns. You see it.
It's a sweet pink-haired style from Nick Lewis.
It's a long time to grow out. Calgary looking to end the jinx against BC, doing it a big way so far. Per game than any other team in the Canadian Football League, under 20 points per game. How about 24 points in the first 9 minutes and 5 seconds? And Benavides wants to talk it over with his defense.
Not a single thing has gone right so far in this football game for the British Columbia Lions.
Texas. I know it's a little bit colder here. Still ball.
And the Calgary Stampeders will kick off for the fourth time in the first quarter. And Brown again from the 9-yard line, the busiest BC Lion. And fights his way out to the 31-yard line. And so Mike Riley goes back to work. Travis Lulay listening in. The play call from Chapdelaine. You mentioned we haven't seen a lot of Andrew Harris. You would have thought that BC, which is very effective running the ball, might do it more here.
Well, Harris is even so good as a receiver when you look for those high percentage passes from Mike Riley to try and get a little bit of continuity and some plays that they can run successfully into this win.
And here's the give to Harris. He is wrapped up immediately. Cordero Law got in there. And Jackson came in to help out as well. And once again, BC is stuffed as Harris loses a couple.
Yeah. Calgary Stampeders defense all over this one. Way too much penetration at the line as Cordero Law, Brian Bulkey, both in the backfield immediately on the BC running back. You've got one team playing with a ton of emotion here in a game that means nothing in the standings. The other team, the BC Lions, just flat.
Looks like early movement by the Lions there. Riley up and throwing. And the pass is caught by Foster, Akeem Foster, up to the 43-yard line for a BC first down, a gain of 15 yards. And Mike Benavides saw his team clinch first place in the West last week and thus far lay a gigantic egg here in Calgary tonight.
Procedure, BC number 63, illegal formation. The tackle is back off the line, 5-yard penalty, beat the down.
Thought there was early movement, so that gain is negated.
Yeah, right tackle, Javon Olafiore. And the reason why he's cheated back off the line of scrimmage a little bit is because of the guy who's in front of him, Charleston Hughes, who's had an absolutely dynamite second half to this season in terms of getting after the quarterback. Olafiore is trying to give himself a little bit of extra space to deal with the quickness of Charleston Hughes.
Second and long, into the wind, in the cold, down 24-0. Here comes the rush, and Riley flushed out of the pocket, trying to find someone, throws underneath. Foster has it, but he was cut down very quickly on the play by Calgary's Tad Cornegate, and he'll be short of a first down by a yard and a half, 2 yards. Spot him right at the 40-yard line.
The way things have started here for BC, I don't think gambling in your own end is a consideration.
Would be a yard and a half to try, and so McCallum comes on, and there's a bare arm, Jason Armstead, to take the punt. Better kick by McCallum this time. Armstead back to the 30-yard line. And Armstead out to the 35. Brought down there by BC's Josh Geese. Here's Jermaine Franklin.
Gord, Coach Benavides gathered a frustrated defense and made sure they were all sitting down and listening, and he just told them to relax. Go out there and play. He knows they have it in their heart to play well, and he said that it's not over. Make sure that they just play to the whistle and get it done.
Well, good advice. Maybe easier said than done for the BC Lions at this point.
It's a direct snap to Cornish. And John Cornish around the corner up to the 44-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8. Cornish last week had his first career 100-yard receiving game.
And Cornish, another guy like Andrew Harris, always regarded as a good receiver out of the backfield. Terrific receiver at the University of Kansas.
And you see Normie Kwong is John Cornish just over 100 yards away from the record for most yards by a Canadian running back. Now remember, Normie Kwong did that under the old rules when you weren't down until you were actually down. He would crawl for 8 yards after being tackled. There's Cornish again, slicing off tackle, first down as he gets out to the 47. But for John Cornish, never mind as a Canadian running back, and then I know, Dwayne, this is important to denote, he's a good running back, period.
Yeah, well, I said it off the top. I think you can make a very strong case for John Cornish and Andrew Harris as the two best running backs in the Canadian Football League this season. One leading the league in rushing, one leading in yards from scrimmage.
And here is Cornish again. Cornish was held to -1 yard rushing in the first meeting between these two teams at McMahon Stadium in Week 5.
Well, then that's a game, Gord, that's widely considered a turning point for the Calgary Stampeders offense, one that forced them to go back to the drawing board a little bit and have a look at the way they were doing some things in the run game. And they changed up their schemes a little bit, and there was a new commitment to that ground game, and it's been a turning point from there for John Cornish.
Calgary's a good first quarter team, outscores its opposition 106-55 coming in, and even more now. Tate throws, and the pass is complete underneath the Price. And Price is to midfield, and they'll mark him down there a yard short of a Calgary first down.
Drew Tate came out, he had that interception on his first pass, but the guy who hasn't played since way back in July 7th, he was injured against the Toronto Argonauts. Overall, looks like he hasn't missed a beat. And talking to Drew yesterday, that was kind of his goal. He said he got hurt in a first down play. He said he wanted to pick up right where he left off, almost as if it was in the middle of the same drive, and get things going from there.
Rob Maver on to punt. Tim Brown waiting to receive. Maver leads the CFL in net punting yards. Tumbling kick to Brown at the 20. Ran smack dab into Calgary's Quincy Butler. A 35-yard punt, a return of 3 as Riley comes back out, still gloveless here in the first quarter.
Long way from last week's start for Mike Riley, but this is a guy who's experienced adversity in his career before. Bounced around, cut in the NFL a few times. He's waited for his opportunity here in the CFL.
Almost cut in training camp this year.
Yeah, told that in the preseason he was playing for his job, having been here for a couple of years. They needed him to show progress, and he certainly responded to that. And Mike Riley needs to respond here.
And a flag down once again prior to the snap.
Yeah, okay. Procedure, BC number 68. 5-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Patrick Kabongo moved. Hard to miss it when he moves.
And keep an eye on the left side of your screen here. Watch for the running back, Andrew Harris, and his reaction. Just the hands up in the air. Just complete frustration for the Lions at this point.
First down, Riley throws, and the pass was almost intercepted again. That was Jamar Wall. And don't forget, earlier, Brandon Smith had one that he couldn't hang on to, so Riley has dodged a couple in that respect, but he's also fumbled and had that recovered for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is one I think Mike Riley got locked in on his receiver, Ernest Jackson, on this play, because Wall was right with him in coverage from the get-go. Almost an outstanding one-handed pick there from Jamar Wall, who gets back into the lineup this week.
2nd and 15. Law is in, and Riley is down. Cordero Law with his first sack of the season. And the first quarter comes to an end after Calgary dominates for 15 minutes of the football game. Offensively, defensively, you name it, it's all Stampeders, who lead 24-0 after the opening quarter. Here are the first quarter numbers, and they tell some but not all of the story. 3 quarterback sacks by the Calgary Stampeders. BC's turned the ball over twice. -2 yards rushing for the Lions. That's the BC end of it, Dwayne. This game, statistically for the standings, doesn't have meaning because BC's already clinched first place, Calgary's clinched second. But the Stampeders, to a man saying yesterday, important to play well in this game and against this team.
Yeah, it really is. Coming into this game, the Calgary Stampeders had lost their last 4 straight against the BC Lions. They had lost their last 4 straight against BC here at McMahon Stadium. Knowing that the road to the Grey Cup goes through BC Place, absolutely critical for the Calgary Stampeders to gain some confidence against this Lions team.
And the Lions will open the second quarter with a punt. And it's off the side of McCallum's foot, and Calgary will once again have great field position. That kick went straight out of bounds.
Yeah, out of bounds between the 20, so that's going to be a penalty against the Lions. Walk this thing even further into BC territory.
That's a 27-yard punt with a penalty attached to the end of it.
That was a kick with the wind at his back.
Legal kickoff out of bounds. BC number 4 will apply a 10-yard penalty from where it went out of bounds. First down.
So it's a net 17-yard kick. And Calgary's first down, the BC 33.
The reaction from Paul McCallum to that punt says it all. Knowing his team needed a big punt from him there.
There he is.
Kevin Glenn back in a quarterback for Calgary. Under pressure, throws it off. And drops it off to Lewis, who bounces ahead, and a late flag comes down on BC. And Lewis, who bounced ahead for a couple.
Oh, Kevin Glenn looked like he was in all sorts of trouble in that backfield, but managed to find old reliable Nick Lewis. Broke one tackle right near the line of scrimmage and turned that one into a first down.
Lewis and Khalif Mitchell are jawing, and Mitchell, of course, is just back in the BC lineup. For disciplinary reasons, he was suspended after an offensive tweet.
We have a major foul. BC number 96 will go up half the distance to the goal. First down.
So a 15-yard penalty to Mitchell.
Nick Lewis clearly down and back up on his feet. Khalif Mitchell made the play.
First down Calgary from the 12. And Cornish around the right side, puts down the 1-yard line. Brought down there by Anton McKenzie. But should have another first down. It'll be first and goal, Calgary.
A great run there for John Cornish as the Stampeders continue to dominate here. Picked up 11 yards on that carry.
Calgary's last win at home against BC was in 2009. So the Stampeders taking out 3 years of frustration in this first half. This has been as one-sided as you'll see. And now Bo Levi Mitchell is in for Calgary. On the short yardage play, Mitchell throws it up to the end zone. It is caught for a touchdown. Corey Mace. And now all 3 Calgary quarterbacks have a touchdown pass in the game.
Just an unbelievable start to this ball game for the Calgary Stampeders. Corey Mace, the defensive tackle, native of Port Moody, BC. Lines up as a tight end on this play. Just releases to the deep corner route here. Everybody expects him to block down. Nobody follows. The big fella takes off on that route.
Never mind the Belmont. The horses run the Boston Marathon. Calgary, 31-0 in the first half. All 8 penalties in the game have gone against the BC Lions. Corey Mace has his first career CFL touchdown. All 3 Calgary quarterbacks have thrown a touchdown pass in the game.
That last drive was just gift wrapped by the BC Lions with all the penalties.
And now Tim Brown takes another kickoff out close to the 40-yard line. The only BC Lion who's had any kind of productive evening so far. Now the question, Dwayne, is this. Does BC stay with Riley, or does Thomas DeMarco get a look at some point?
Well, it was interesting because talking to Coach Mike Benavides yesterday, there's really no plan to use Thomas DeMarco unless it was a situation where typically you would put in your backup quarterback. Score out of hand one way or the other. Well, I mean, it's a little early to start looking to make that change now to throw Thomas DeMarco into the fire for his first CFL action. But into the second half, it's got to be a consideration.
Take the end around, Riley throws, and the pass is complete to G. Roy Simon to the 51-yard line. Gain of 12 on the play for a BC first down. Riley did play in some adverse weather while playing at Central Washington. They played a number of playoff games in snow, but not that much cold. He wasn't used to sub-zero temperatures. This game, not like last week, which would have been played in a snow globe. And here's a direct snap. And Harris lost the football after he was down. Here again, Jermaine Franklin.
Gord, strong side linebacker for the Stampeders. Keon Raymond has left and gone to the room. No details on what's wrong with him just yet, but we will get an update at halftime. And you mentioned earlier 3 different quarterbacks for the Stampeders threw for touchdowns in one half. Nick Lewis was interested. When was the last time that happened? I haven't had an answer for him, but perhaps we will in the second half. Moisty must be on the lookout right now.
Our statistician Dave Moyer will have to look that up. We're scrambling here, setting the Calgary Stampeders fact book on fire, looking up biggest leads, biggest halves, biggest quarters.
Well, and it's easy to imagine, especially when you consider some of the quarterbacks that have played in Calgary over the years. 3 quarterbacks throwing a touchdown pass in the same game, but 3 in the same half.
Offside, BC number 88. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
9th penalty of the game, all against the Lions.
Just an uncharacteristic lack of discipline, lack of execution, lack of poise, quite frankly, from the Lions.
And at some point, you think that Benavides will just take this game video and leave it behind. Here comes the rush. Riley under pressure, hammered there and dropped. Anwar Stewart has the sack. That's his 2nd of the game.
Well, Anwar Stewart doing a pretty good job reviving his career here in Calgary, where it all began for this young man. Maybe not so young anymore. 97 at the top of your screen. Stewart attended his first training camp with Calgary back in 2000 before eventually joining the Montreal Alouettes.
And McCallum's kick taken by Armstead at the 30-yard line. And Armstead out of bounds to the 38. Wendy's Friday Night Football back to Calgary after this. Well, Mike Benavides wants his team to play well down the stretch. Have to reboot that up.
Maybe next week, Mike.
Maybe next week at home to Saskatchewan.
Yeah, there's going to have to be a whole lot of regrouping taking place at halftime for the BC Lions.
Back to to the ground to John Cornish. Cornish with a first down across the 50 to the 52-yard line, and a gain of 14 yards for Cornish.
Good patience there from John Cornish. Waiting for that hole to open up.
Got 46 yards rushing already in the game, so less than 100 yards away from Kwong's single-season record for rushing yards by a Canadian.
Nice second-level block there from the left tackle, Edwin Harrison.
Now Glenn's up throwing over the top, and the pass falls incomplete. Trying to find the fullback, Rob Cote.
Cote, a guy who's a very good receiver in his junior football days. Victoria Rebels. Converted to a fullback here with the Stampeders. Obviously enjoyed a very successful career.
Pretty good last week in the snow. By the way, Calgary's win last week was 7 turnovers, the second time in the last decade that a team had won a game for committing 6 or more turnovers.
Remarkable twist for the Calgary Stampeders in that weather.
And Glenn over the middle to Nick Lewis, and Lewis flips the ball out after another first down reception, and no one better on second down to move the sticks for you than Nick Lewis, who is the league leader in second down catches for a first down.
Well, just Mr. Consistency for the Calgary Stampeders, over 1,000 yards every year he's been in the Canadian Football League. Since his arrival in 2004, leading the league in receptions this season.
The toss goes to Cornish, who fights his way inside the 40-yard line. Cornish with 13 touchdowns coming in, one off the league lead. And of all the people looking on who can't be enjoying this, the former head coach and GM of the Calgary Stampeders, Wally Buono. This has got to be a tough pill for him to swallow, even though his team's wrapped up first place. Coming here and seeing this. You played for Wally. There's no off days for him.
Yeah, no question. I'm surprised you actually can't see steam coming from Wally's ears right now with this kind of performance in this situation. You always want to peak going into the postseason. Even though you've wrapped up first place, you want to prove that you're worthy of first place, especially playing a divisional rival, playing a team that you might see in the playoffs. You do want a message to be sent. In this game, it has been strictly the Calgary Stampeders.
And by the way, his former protege, John Hufnagel, is now second on the Stampeders' all-time win list for coaches, well behind Wally, who of course is the CFL's all-time leader overall in coaching wins.
John Hufnagel for several years.
There they were before the game.
Old friends. John Hufnagel became Wally Buono's offensive coordinator when Wally took over as head coach here back in 1990.
And what a year that John Hufnagel has endured here in Calgary. He said in his entire football career he's never seen anything like it. Calgary has 14 players right now on the 9-game injured list. They have used 70 players so far this season. Only 5 players have started every game for them.
I think the injury bug has been a league-wide thing this year.
On second down, Glenn throws, and here's Lewis again, and there's another second down reception for a first, and we've got someone injured on the sidelines.
A huge knockout block there by Jabari Arthur on Koshi Mwamba. This is the Lions' free safety, stepped up to make the tackle. Arthur came in from the side. Jabari Arthur heading over to see if Koshi Mwamba was okay over there on the sideline.
And the Stampeders were the first to show concern and wave the trainers over.
Yeah, well, it's a great reaction here from the Stampeders medical staff to get in there and not wait for the Lions to have to get across the field. Arthur right on the left side of your screen, number 81. Perfectly clean block, just Mwamba didn't see it coming. You see Caron Williams comes in after Jabari Arthur. stick up for his teammate a little bit. Fortunate not to get another flag for the Lions there.
So Mwamba is slowly sitting up, but more bad news for the Lions.
Oh, Sunday at 10, only on E. That was all your fault, Dwayne.
I did nothing. Ice does love Coco Gordon.
At the end of the play, we had a major foul, unnecessary roughness, BC number 9 for a 15-yard penalty and a first down.
10th penalty of the game, all against the BC Lions, and the Karan Williams play was detected. So first down Calgary from the 15. And Glenn looks to the end zone, and the pass is incomplete. Trying to find Romby Bryant.
One of the few things that hasn't been dead on for the Calgary Stampeders so far in this ball game, but Kevin Glenn going to the end zone, showing no indication that they're going to take the foot off the gas pedal in this ball game.
By the way, the Corey Mays touchdown reception, now 11 Calgary receivers, so-called, with at least one touchdown catch this year. And that's partly because of all the turnover that John Huffnagle's team has had to endure. By the way, Larry Taylor could be back next week. Second down. Glenn fires, and Lewis can't make the one-handed catch.
Lions will dodge a bullet here as the field goal team comes on. Nick Lewis sticks the big mid up and almost pulled this one down.
So Paradis is on to try another field goal with under 7 to go in the second quarter. And the Stampeder lead is now 34. This is our league, brought to you by Nissan. Well, we are here at McMahon Stadium, and many people from outside Calgary aren't aware that we're on the campus of the University of Calgary, and the Calgary Dinosaurs, who are a perennial power in the CIS, are here. So if you're fortunate enough to play well for the Dinos, you can make your way right down the hall to the Stampeder locker room down at the south end of the stadium. And these two have peacefully coexisted in excellence for a long time here in Calgary.
They sure have, and many have made that trip from the Dino dressing room, the Stampeder dressing room most recently. A couple guys in uniform tonight, Matt Walter and Anthony Parker.
Here's Harris on the carry. And Harris with Riley leading the block. He gets around the corner. And Andrew Harris finally gets loose into Calgary territory and forced out of bounds after a 25-yard gain.
Well, the guy that we've been suggesting could be the spark for the BC Lions in this miserable start. Provides them with their biggest offensive play. 25-yard run there from Harris.
Actually comes into the game leading BC in receiving yards as well as rushing yards. And Harris with a chance, as he's the league leader in yards from scrimmage. The last Canadian rather do that, Terry Evanston, back in 1967. Now the fake to Harris. And Riley throws that pass complete to Courtney Taylor. Check that, Ernest Jackson. And a gain of 1 on the play.
Ernest Jackson going to hold down that short side wide receiver spot the rest of the way this season. He and Kerry Johnson kind of been jockeying for it since Johnson came back from a broken arm, but Johnson released earlier this week, so it's Jackson's job the rest of the way.
Second down, here comes the rush, down goes Ryder, the ball comes free. Pounced on by Anwar Stewart. There's a flag down on the play. And the BC Lions, who were talking about the fact they'd only turned the ball over 19 times this season, if this stands, it'll be the 3rd of the first half. And Charleston Hughes, who leads the league with 5 forced fumbles, knocked that one out. Now, what's the penalty?
Offside, Calgary number 8. 5-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
So the first Stampeder penalty negates the turnover. And Fred Bennett didn't like the call.
Well, Bennett in the corner lined up too tight to the line. That press coverage. Fred Bennett preparing to get into that press coverage.
Now second and short. And Riley throws complete to G. Simon right at the first down marker. By the way, Calgary, its first penalty in this game, was only flagged 4 times last week in that game against Hamilton. We mentioned G. Simon back in the BC lineup.
And Simon tweaked that hamstring. He'd had some troubles with the other hamstring earlier in the year, but just in stalking his defender to block on an Andrew Harris run. Tweaked the right hamstring as you saw him grab the back of the leg. So he's sat out the last 3 weeks. Lions just trying to get him a little bit of action. Tuned up before the playoffs. G. Simon comes into this game with 657 receiving yards. Well off his usual 1,000-yard pace.
And he's that short of a BC first down. Lions have just 3 first downs in the first half.
I mentioned G. Simon in that 1,000-yard streak of his, 9 straight years, over 1,000. It appears that's going to come to an end this season. He gave Calgary's Nick Lewis the longest active streak.
BC gambling on 3rd and short. Fumble. And did Riley get it? He was hit early by DeMonte Bolden, but Riley again bobbled the ball. And did he get the first down on the second effort?
Well, it looked like the snap had some trouble even getting up to him. Like the center, Dean Valley, didn't quite get the ball up there. Angus Reid, the usual center, is healthy, but on the sidelines, he's dressed as the backup today. A little bit of a, what we'll call a maintenance week for the veteran Angus Reid. So Dean Valley in at center, Jesse Newman starting at guard for the Lions this week, former Stampeder.
And Riley did get the first down. Fake to Harris, Riley throws, and nothing doing for Jackson as he is wrapped up right away on the play. Brandon Smith got in there quickly on the stop.
It just seemed like a little bit of panic there from Mike Riley almost the instant he took that football.
He does have an unusual throwing motion. It's been talked about since his days in college, and you mentioned he tried out with a number of NFL teams and was with Green Bay for a year on their practice roster, but a lot of coaches over the years have tried to quote-unquote correct his throwing motion. High snap, Riley fires, and the pass is caught. And this is Courtney Taylor off and running inside the 10. And Courtney Taylor will set BC up 1st and goal on a gain of 33 yards. It's been all Calgary so far here in the first half. But the Lions have the ball deep in Calgary territory as we hit the 3-minute warning. Lions 1st and goal at the Calgary 8-yard line. And the shovel pass ahead. Riley picks it back up, and he got belted. At the end of that play, it's ruled an incomplete pass. And for his trouble, Riley got hammered there by Charleston Hughes. That play not even close to what they intended.
No, and this is a play where Riley, the quarterback, has to make his read as to whether the running back is going to get taken away. It's just like an option play. You're either going to give it to the running back if he's the open guy, or keep it yourself if the running back is taken away. Well, there, Anwar Stewart kind of baited Mike Riley into pitching it, and then went and absolutely blasted the running back Harris in the hole.
Ninth play of the drive. Riley under pressure, throws to the end zone, touchdown, G-Roy Simon. And Riley got hammered as he made that throw.
Oh, Mike Riley, if nothing else, shows some toughness here. He got drilled by Brian Bulkey just as he threw this football, but completes it to G-Roy Simon for number 81's second touchdown of 2012. The Lions are on the board.
And G-Roy Simon has his first touchdown in his last 11 games. He's gone 10 straight without a touchdown catch. And the point after is good. So near the end of a dismal first half for the Lions, they finally get on the board. But Riley got belted around by Charleston Hughes on the botched shovel pass, then got drilled again at the end of that play.
Yeah, and give Mike Riley a lot of credit. He's had a lot of things go wrong in this ball game, obviously, but he stands in there with Brian Bulkey bearing down on him, makes a perfect throw to G-Roy Simon. By the way, you saw G-Roy Simon keep the ball after that catch. That was touchdown reception number 100 of his illustrious career. Sure not the circumstances in which G-Roy wanted to reach yet another milestone.
So another football for his trophy case. And his team is finally got something positive to talk about at halftime, because otherwise Mike Benevides' halftime speech might have been a bit more depressing than usual.
Well, showing signs of life here, trying to, I don't want to use the word momentum with the scoreboard reading 34-7, but at least showing some competitive fire here are the BC Lions.
And the Lions showing a possible onside kick possibility here. Paul McCallum was putting the ball in the wrong yard line. How long has he been in the league?
It's been that kind of night.
Just 20th year in the league. You'd think you'd know by now. You kick off from the 35. And they are trying the short kick, which was fielded cleanly by Cote. And Calgary have the ball at its own 51-yard line.
Stampeders number 26, Rob Cote, comes in with the short kickoff. First down.
Good execution there from the Stampeders hands team, because they didn't let any penetration near Rob Cote on that one. You've got everybody up front just blocking, trying to keep one of your sure-handed guys clean to field the football.
And Drew Tate is back in a quarterback for Calgary. John Hufnagel told us yesterday he'd like Tate to get half the snaps in the game. Was 3-0 as a starter last year for Calgary, and of course there was the whole Tate Burris conversation at the end of the season last year. And Tate up and throwing, and that pass knocked away by Corey Banks. And even though Tate is back, he made it clear that Kevin Glenn is the man for now in Calgary.
I'm not the starter. I mean, I'm not the starter. Like you just said, Kevin started the last 14 games, and we play 18 games, so that man's the starter. He's done a hell of a job. The other side, you know, we're professionals, and this isn't, you know, I went through this last year with Hank, to be honest, in a similar kind of way. Not quite like this, but, you know, there was still a lot of common denominators, I feel.
And now Tate under pressure, lost the football, and was able to get it back. Now, any question in your mind that it will be Kevin Glenn from here on in for Calgary?
Well, I think it would take something somewhat remarkable to change that. I think the only thing, if I'm the Calgary Stampeders, that potentially changes, given the way that Kevin Glenn has performed, this season, which has obviously been a positive for this team, is that now you know you've got Drew Tate, that if Kevin Glenn struggles, you've got a more than proven experienced guy ready to come in, and Drew Tate, you've got the guy who was your starter at the start of the year. So the leash perhaps gets a little bit shorter, so to speak, for Kevin Glenn. But aside from that, you got to believe with a team that's been very successful with Kevin Glenn at the helm, you're not going to mess with that too much heading into the playoffs.
And the punt fielded by Brown at the BC 20-yard line. And Brown winds his way up to the 30. Coming up, GMC Live at the half. Dave Randorf, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz, and Milt Stiegel will sift through the wreckage of this first half to give us their thoughts on that. Also look ahead to games tomorrow. You and I will be in Regina tomorrow for the Saskatchewan Roughrider Toronto Argonaut game, a game that's got important implications for both those teams.
Well, it sure could. I know the Argos may be watching the scoreboard in Hamilton a little bit tomorrow afternoon. Certainly the Saskatchewan Roughriders still in a battle as well, playoff-wise.
Here's Riley up to throw, fires over the middle. And the pass is caught by Akeem Foster, and Foster is wrapped up and marked down for a gain of 18.
And you see Mike Riley trying to push the ball down the field here a little bit as the Lions have the wind at their back and trying to close this gap before they go in at the break. Finish out the first half with back-to-back successful possessions.
Clock running under 90 seconds. And Riley being chased, throws over the top, has a man, and the pass is caught by Ernest Jackson. Jackson was alone in behind. Fred Bennett had to wait for the ball, but it is a first down for BC and a gain of 35 yards.
Well, we talked off the top of this ball game about Mike Riley and his ability to overcome a little bit of adversity. Well, tell you what, these last couple drives, Mike Riley's maybe suggesting that he can overcome a lot of adversity as well. Here rolling away from pressure, delivering a throw to Ernest Jackson, the receiver doing a nice job going up to get that football at its highest point.
Look out, here comes the rush. Riley delivers at the sidelines. Pass is caught by Paris Jackson. And he's down to the 14-yard line for another BC first down.
This looks a little bit more like the Mike Riley we saw a week ago. The guy that Dave Naylor talked about in the pregame show as potentially this offseason's hottest free agent.
Under a minute to go here in the first half. Mike Riley trying to stir his team to life. Throws to Harris. And Harris fights his way close to another first down as he gets inside the 5-yard line.
This, again, where Andrew Harris may be most dangerous, as good as he is as a running back, averaging 6 yards a carry coming into this ball game. But absolutely lethal as a receiver out of that backfield.
Had 2 touchdown catches in the first meeting against the Calgary Stampeders.
Mike Riley looking to close this to a 3-possession ball game before the half.
He's completed 5 in a row. First and goal. Riley throws incomplete. Over the head of G. Roy Simon and short of Sean Gore.
G. Roy Simon got jammed close to the line of scrimmage. Defender did a nice job using the goalpost as a 13th defender on the play. Simon's the inside receiver. That defender is going to jam him inside, but pins him in tight to that goalpost. The receiver can't get upfield.
The give to Harris. And Harris stopped after a gain of a couple. Monty Bolden made the stop, and now You get the first down.
Yeah, the sticks will move, so the Lions get 3 downs here, 18 seconds to go in the half.
So it's 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. And this impressive drive by Mike Riley continues.
Just have to be very aware of the clock. It's
Timer.
not.
Please put 18 seconds on the, 20 seconds on the clock. 20 seconds on the game clock.
Lions still have their timeout here.
1st and goal from the 3. Clock is reset. The 22nd clock is reset. And here we go. Riley's pass batted at the line by Malik Jackson. And it was Jackson who began this nightmare first half for Calgary by forcing the ball free and recovering it in the end zone for a Calgary defensive touchdown.
Watch for Jackson, number 11, coming off the edge.
It was actually, check that, it was Anwar Stewart who got his hand on it.
Not surprising, Anwar Stewart he made a career of knocking down passes at the line of scrimmage from his defensive end spot. Clock stops, but that play took 10 seconds off for BC.
2nd and goal from the 3. Here comes the rush. Riley throws to the end zone, touchdown! Caught by Akeem Foster. And another touchdown drive by the BC Lions. And they actually put that on the scoreboard for Calgary. They're so used to it, they made the score 40-7. But it's actually 34-13 with the point after to come.
Watch Mike Riley backpedal, buying himself time because he knows he's just got to get an extra second for Akeem Foster to get to his spot, but he knows he's going to be open as that heat is coming. And he gets it there. The Lions still have a long, long way to go in the second half of this ball game. But showing big signs of life in the late moments of the second quarter.
They've made the score now 40-8.
So Calgary gets the touchdown.
Hey, you know things
BC
are going.
gets the extra point.
You know things are going your way when the other team's touchdowns go up in your total. Well, they'll fix that up, and it's now within 3 possessions for BC. Look, you were down 34-0. You gotta scramble for whatever positives you can find, but this has been a very impressive first half by the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, it certainly has with the Stampeders. You know, I imagine that the mood and perhaps the coaches' halftime speeches have exchanged a little bit here in the latter moments of the half. It'll be John Hufnagel telling his guys, you can't let up, you can't let off the gas pedal. You got to take advantage, keep that momentum from that start you had. Whereas Mike Benavides can be much more positive based on the way his team has played over the last 5 minutes versus the first 25.
Ernest Jackson with his, or Akeem Foster rather, with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. Ernest Jackson with a big gain on the drive. And the BC Lions who look forward to warmer weather for the rest of the season. And there's a low bounding kickoff. And that's taken by Armstead and pushed out of bounds at the 34-yard line. It began as a nightmare for BC and a dream for Calgary. Stampeders trying to end a long drought against the Lions, lead by 20 at the half.
Calgary Stampeders, this is Nick Lewis's 99th reception of the season, his 10th touchdown.
Back here in Calgary, getting set for the start of the second half. Here is Jermaine Franklin with BC coach Mike Benavides.
Coach Benavides, did the weather affect the team early on with the start?
No, we just weren't ready to play off the top, and we had to get our feet underneath us. They wanted it more than we did at the beginning. We have to play better. We have to play the rest of the game like we did the second quarter. Weather's never an excuse. They're playing the same stuff.
How important were those 2 scoring drives heading into the second half?
It's critical. I mean, I was proud of the guys to respond a little bit because it seemed like nothing was going our way. We played better in the second quarter. We got a big half of football coming up here.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Looked like Stampede Park racetrack in the first quarter with the way Quick Six was running up and down the sidelines on the home of the 100th Grey Cup, which is less than a month away now. Calgary's in the playoffs, so is BC. A lot of other things yet to be determined, and we'll get a good idea tomorrow of what the playoff picture will look like. And BC will get the football to open the second half. And the kickoff taken by Brown inside his 20-yard line. Brown with some room to run it across the 40 and pushed out of bounds at the 45-yard line. A 29-yard return.
We'll take a look at some of the stats from that first half for the BC Lions. Mike Riley, despite the struggles, turned in pretty good numbers, 15 of 21, a couple late touchdown passes. Andrew Harris, you heard Milt Stiegel talk about it, held to 20 yards rushing in that first half. Geroy Simon, pretty good return to the lineup for him. 4 catches, 38 yards, and touchdown number 100 through the air in his CFL career.
Here's Harris to open the second half. And he was tripped up quickly there by Brandon Smith after a gain of 5.
You know, head coach Mike Benavides was dead on in his interview at halftime with Jermaine Franklin. Right off the top of this football game, the Calgary Stampeders clearly wanted it more. They were ready to play from the opening kickoff. The Lions were not. Reeling for about the first 20, 25 minutes of this ball game, but came back in a big way late in that first half and looking to continue that momentum here. They've got the ball in the wind to start the second half.
Took the game's first 10 penalties. Riley under pressure and dropped. And Anwar Stewart is there again. BC had allowed just 19 sacks coming in, best in the league. That's the 5th sack of the game for Calgary, 3rd for Stewart.
Well, I'll tell you, the old guy is showing some pretty fresh legs here. Beating his man to the inside, little upfield move first, and then a quick swim to the inside. The way he goes to get his mitts on Mike Riley yet again. Anwar Stewart emerging as a force, proven to be a great bookend, if not a great dancer, opposite Charleston Hughes on that defensive line.
I'm not sure if that's a tribute to the Calgary horse, if he's doing Gangnam Style. Which is it? Armstead back to take this Paul McCallum punt. That's again off the side of his foot. Did that bounce out of bounds? It did land in the field of play and then out. That's a 26-yard punt for McCallum.
Paul McCallum having a tough time. It seems like he's struggling more kicking, even with the wind, than he did against it.
So we're checking with the CFL's official statistician, Steve Daniel, to find out if it's the first time that a team had 3 different quarterbacks throw touchdown passes in a game. Right now, we can't find anyone that's done it. And on Calgary's first possession of the second half, here's R.J. Franklin on the carry on the end around, and Franklin gets shaken up on the play.
Anthony Reddick made the stop.
Drew Tate gets the first possession of the second half for Calgary.
We did, as you mentioned, see 3 different quarterbacks in the first half for Calgary. Kevin Glenn led the way with 96 passing yards. John Cornish on pace for another 100-yard rushing game, and Nick Lewis doing what Nick Lewis does. 4 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown in the first 30 minutes.
Tate throws, and Cornish has it. Up close to the 50-yard line and close to another Calgary first down. Cornish was saying after the game last week when he had his first 100-yard receiving game that he wanted to prove to people that he was more than just a running back, that he belongs in that category like a Brandon Whitaker in Montreal and Andrew Harris in BC as an all-purpose back.
Yeah, and he absolutely is, and he's shown that in the past. John Cornish, in past years, has had an absolutely ridiculous receiving average. He's been a guy who's shown he can be a big play guy in the receiving game, but it's just a matter of what he's been asked to do within the Calgary Stampeder offense this year. And, you know, I mean, this is a little bit of the Cornish-Harris debate that will go on until the awards are announced during Grey Cup week, you know, or at least until the West finalist is announced for the most outstanding Canadian award. But, you know, both very versatile guys. They're just asked to play different roles within their team systems.
Cornish with 13 touchdowns on the year, one off the league lead.
Third down and a yard.
So it's third and less than a yard for Calgary. And Bo Levi Mitchell is in. And Mitchell, the third Calgary quarterback, goes in from Eastern Washington University. So Eastern Washington, Central Washington are two arch rivals in that Division II conference. And Bo Levi is another young quarterback that people think has a bright future in the CFL at just 22 years of age.
Yeah, I talked to Dave Dickinson about Bo Levi Mitchell a couple of weeks ago. He says he's never been around a guy who is just more into football. He says he's nonstop, constantly asking questions, always watching film, just dying to learn. So the Calgary Stampeders look like they've got themselves another good one in the pipeline.
Tate back in on first down, gives off to Cornish, and Cornish wrapped up quickly on a great tackle there by Adam Bighill.
Adam Bighill, number 44, made the tackle.
On the topic of Central Washington, middle linebacker Adam Bighill, also out of that institution. Shows a little bit of his sideline to sideline speed on that play.
John Kitna went to Central Washington, the longtime NFL quarterback. So did the lady that founded Lululemon.
The fact that you know that concerns me a little bit, Gord.
Well, you know, had to learn more about Central Washington.
Well, that worries me even more than the fact that you watch Coco Loves Ice.
Tate throws, and Nick Lewis makes the catch, wrapped up quickly by Anthony Reddick. I think it was clear from that first half promo that I don't. I'd like to apologize to the millions of fans of Coco Loves Ice for that debacle.
Technically, I think it's Ice Loves Coco.
Okay, whatever. Just leave it.
Anyway, moving on.
Third down, Calgary, and Rob Baber is in. So a chance now for BC. Early in the third quarter, there's lots of time here to pull closer. This would be, however, if BC comes back, one for the books. Tim Brown is back to receive this punt. Good kick by Maver, drives Brown back to the 10. And he'll get it to the 20-yard line, a return of 9. Friday Night Football returns to Calgary after this. Gord Miller, Dwayne Ford, Jermaine Franklin here in Calgary on this Friday night. The BC Lions have the ball at their own 20-yard line, 1st and 10. Riley throws, and the pass is caught by Gore, who's got a gain of 18 yards up to the 38.
Nice execution there from Mike Riley and Sean Gore, recognizing the blitz as Tad Cornegay came free off the edge. It's got to be a hot read, get rid of the ball in a hurry. For Riley, get your head around quickly for Gore.
John Huffnagel was singing the praises of Tad Cornegay, saying he's played both corners, both wide side and short side corner, safety, halfback, and linebacker for Calgary this year.
Well, this is what made Tad Cornegay so valuable during his time in Saskatchewan, was his versatility. He was the guy they plugged in everywhere on defense.
And this is Gore, this time on the carry. Gets out to the 45-yard line. That's his 11th carry of the season.
Well, BC in their offense likes to use a lot of different guys running the football. Sean Gore obviously leading the way among the receivers, but you talk about Tad Cornegay, and he's going to play a lot more snaps now with Keon Raymond having made his way to the dressing room in the first half of this football game banged up. But you put those two guys on the same team, that gives you a whole lot of defensive flexibility, as Keon Raymond is another guy who you can play virtually anywhere on defense and he'll make an impact.
Riley throws, tipped, and almost intercepted there by Juwan Simpson. And Simpson had that big fumble recovery last week with the Hamilton Ticats driving late in the game. Got a hand on that.
And middle linebacker Juwan Simpson, good range deep into coverage here to help out. On the slot back, Courtney Taylor gets into that passing lane to disrupt the play.
Paul McCallum averaging under 30 yards a punt. Here's a better one. This is Armstead back to the 20-yard line. And Armstead wrapped up after a turn of 12, a 49-yard kick for McCallum.
Stewart, new life here in Calgary. 3 sacks for him so far in this football game from his defensive end position.
And off the field, our Scotiabank game changer is Karen Gallagher-Burt, who is the Director of Volunteers at the Calgary Distress Center. More than 250 volunteers work the distress line's phones, and there she is doing some promo work. See, she'll do anything to promote the Distress Center, but the good work they do with those in need, and so people give their time, their energy, and their souls to that cause.
And through this Scotiabank Game Changers, we've met lots of great people over the course of the season. I think Karen might be the funniest game changer we've met.
There's a completion of Romby Bryant, who dives ahead to the 37-yard line. Corey Banks there to help make the tackle. Drew Tate said he wanted to approach this game as though he had a completion on the play against Toronto, and now it's just second down.
That's right, picking up where he left off. Middle of a drive when he got hurt. Taken down, injured that left shoulder against the Toronto Argonauts at Rogers Center in July.
The only difference is it's about 35 degrees colder.
That's right.
Second and short. Pump fake by Tate. He's under pressure and down. Adam Bighill got him. And that will force Calgary to punt.
I'll tell you, Gord, sometimes you get a game that's not really all that close and you start looking for different storylines. And here I want to show you Calgary receiver Mo Price. Shows he's got some skills other than catching the football.
What did he do?
Well, he joins in on the choreography a little bit with the Stampeder Outriders. Waiting for play to start during the last break. Multi-talented guy, Mo Price.
Now, you've been in locker rooms before. That's a fine, is it not?
He's just trying to stay warm, man.
Neighbors kick low and tumbling in front of Brown. Fields out the 35-yard line. A flag is down, and Brown moving straight ahead. Tim Brown, another flag is down into Calgary territory, brought down to the 45-yard line. There are 2 flags on the play. The first is for no yards. The question is, what is the second? That was a 41-yard return of a 31-yard kick.
Tim Brown has been one of the bright spots here for the BC Lions.
They're still discussing the spot of the foul.
The reaction of the Lions offense here backing up their huddle suggests we're going to see at least 1 penalty go against them.
Well, it would have been a first down for BC at the Calgary 46-yard line.
Holding call will go against the Lions, no yards against the Stamps.
And BC will have the football when we come back. Back in Calgary on this Friday night. The BC Lions have the football back at their 33-yard line. That holding penalty cost them 31 yards of field position. Riley under pressure again, and he is brought down again by Anwar Stewart. And that will be a sack, the 4th of the game for Stewart, and the 6th of the game for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, Anwar Stewart, a guy who spent most of this season unemployed, coming from that left defensive end spot. He just folds back inside as Mike Riley tries to step up. There's Big Stu to bring him down.
Second and 11, Riley throws, Harris has it, and he is brought down quickly by Malik Jackson. And the sack tally brought to you by Purelator, tackling hunger across Canada. Check, while the BC Lions lead the league with 43 quarterback sacks, but Calgary's moved to the second spot with 6 tonight. Keep in mind that BC had only allowed 19 coming into this game.
And led by Anwar Stewart with 4. The Calgary Stampeders closing the gap between 1 and 2 tonight.
His first 4 of the season. Armstead watches that punt bounce out of bounds at the 25-yard line. We're back to Calgary after this. Last week, BC allowed 4 quarterback sacks against Edmonton. That was a season high that they'd allowed.
Not for long.
No, not for long at all. And now Calgary has the ball at its own 25. Then back in, direct snap again to Cornish, and once again, Big Hill there with the stop. Last week, the BC defense was tremendous against Edmonton, forced them 2 and out 9 times and held the Eskimos just 12 first downs in the game. BC leads in almost every major category. In fact, Dwayne, there are 50 team categories in the stats. BC leads in 29 of them.
It just underlines how good a season it's been for the BC Lions, particularly on that defensive side of the ball.
And they'd allowed 10 fewer touchdowns than any other team in the league coming in. That's taken a dent tonight. Glenn's under pressure, and he is down. And it's Big Hill again. With an assist from Maurice Evans, and the BC defense comes up big again.
Adam Big Hill with the big hit on this one. Linebacker blitz is inside and absolutely buries quarterback Kevin Glenn on the play. Solomon Elimimian eats up 2 blockers. Big Hill loops around free. And it's after plays like that where when you're the Calgary Stampeders, you start thinking about getting your other quarterback some reps and getting Kevin Glenn out.
Tim Brown stands at midfield. Now remember, BC has had the wind at its back here in the 3rd quarter. Good kick by Maber. Brown at midfield. Flags are down as Brown moves straight ahead. Tim Brown off and running, gone. Touchdown BC. And just like that, the Lions are back in it. Now there are 2 flags down. One is for no yards. What is the other one? A 55-yard return for a touchdown by Tim Brown, but will it stand?
No yards. Calgary, number 0. That penalty's declined. Touchdown.
Tim Brown, he's been threatening all night. He's been the most dangerous Lion on the field throughout this ball game.
Second punt return touchdown of the year for Brown. And the Lions now with a point after can draw within 13 points in a game they once trailed by 34. Tim
Brown, instant impact. Terrific job getting that football up the field immediately.
And McCallum puts the point after up and through. 21 straight points scored by the BC Lions.
And here the punter, Rob Maver, was the last man who had a shot at Tim Brown but couldn't redirect. Maver, number 6, Thought for a second about sticking out the leg to try and trip Tim Brown. Then thought better of it. He pulls that leg out of the way at the last second. And away goes Brown for the major.
Boy, those two late drives by BC at the end of the second quarter that Mike Benavides talked about with Jermaine Franklin really changed the complexion of this game.
Yeah, Mike Benavides referred to it as critical. Those two scores late in the first half, and proving to be right now. Starting to wonder as time ticked on here in the third quarter if the Lions had lost some of that momentum as they had been held in check through this quarter, but Tim Brown, in the blink of an eye, changes all that.
When you played for some powerhouse teams in your time where late in the year games didn't matter, but they do matter, don't they?
Yeah, no question. Every game matters. Every game in an 8-team league is about making a statement.
We're coming, hey! Keep marching! Keep marching! That's all.
So less than 2 minutes left in this third quarter. And the kickoff is taken by Armstead. Can he answer back? Armstead up the sideline. He's got McCallum to beat. And finally brought down. After a terrific return, guess he got him a 55-yard return for Armstead, who answers right back on the punt return touchdown by Brown.
Huge return there from Jason Armstead. Maybe got a little bit of extra help. James Urachuk, the first man down the field. Gets pulled on from behind, a little block from behind there from Keenan McDougall. Goes undetected. Jason Armstead gives the Stampeders great field position, great response to the Tim Brown return.
And they have enjoyed great field position all night. Fake to Cornish, Kevin Glenn throws, the pass is incomplete. Looking there for Nick Lewis.
Well, primary receiver on that play was the fullback, Rob Cote, out in the flat. He got taken away by the Sam linebacker, Anthony Reddick. Cote is going to head to the flat. Anthony Reddick recognizes he goes with him. That throw's not there. Ryan Phillips right with Nick Lewis to close down second option.
And they'll give to Cornish on second down. Cornish fights his way down to the 30-yard line for a Calgary first down.
That's a big first down for the Calgary Stampeders. Not wanting to let BC have another possession with the wind at their backs here in the third quarter. John Cornish, as he has been ever since that first BC game, where he was held to negative rushing yards, the catalyst for the Stampeder offense.
Now 72 yards away from Normie Kwong's single-season rushing record by a Canadian tailback. I showed you earlier, Normie Kwong has his name up on the Stampeders Ring of Honor. Of course, he was an Edmonton Eskimo Hall of Famer, went on to become part of the ownership group here in Calgary, also with the Calgary Flames as one of their owners, and lieutenant governor of the province.
Yeah, one of Alberta's most famous citizens. You see John Cornish
just collapsing obviously on the sidelines.
Some discomfort on the sideline. Former UFC star Matt Walter in the backfield now.
First down, Glenn throws, and the pass hit the defender in the back as they were looking for Romby Bryant. Pierre LaRose and Ryan Phillips were there in the coverage. Phillips, of course, had that awful break last week when he tipped the pass right into Corey Koch's hands for a touchdown.
Well, yeah, here a little bit of good luck for Ryan Phillips as he gets hit in the rear end by that ball. Had some bad luck at the first half of this ball game as well. He had his 4th interception in 5 games, but fumbled on the return, resulting in a 20-yard gain for the Stampeders.
Should be the final play of the third quarter. Second down, Glenn sets it up for Bryant, and a great defensive play made there by Anthony Reddick. And that will stop Bryant well short of a Calgary first down.
And that's what you call a form tackle.
BC's making a game of it, down 13 points as we head to the fourth quarter. We're watching Wendy's Friday Night Football from Calgary on TSN. The numbers after 3 quarters, well, Calgary still up by 13 points, but everything's getting a little closer, including net yards, turnovers, time of possession, quarterback sacks. A big story in this game. Calgary has 6 so far through 3 quarters of play. It's very unusual for a team that gets down 34 points in a game to salvage much out of it. But Mike Benevides said at halftime it was important to do so. Have the Lions done it?
Well, they sure have. I think as much of a message as the Calgary Stampeders delivered out of the gate in this football game with those 34 points to start things off, the Lions have absolutely returned that message by not laying down and responding with 21 unanswered at this point. Calgary, of course, about to try and attempt a field goal, which would break that string, but the Lions, a pretty good roll here since getting in that deep hole.
There it is from the 35-yard line. A low driving kick that he knocks through. And so Calgary has its first point since the early part of the second quarter. Now back up by 16. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by GMC Sierra. We are professional grade. So Paradise puts Calgary back up by 16 as we get set for a BC possession to open this fourth quarter, and an important quarter for Mike Riley. Into the wind with his team down against a good defense.
It was going in this direction that Mike Riley had all his struggles. Looking to erase all of that with a good fork.
Fake to Jackson, throwing over the top. He's got a man open. It's Taylor. And Taylor down the 23-yard line, fumbled the football. And Calgary has it back. Just like that. When it looked like BC was putting it together, Quincy Butler recovers the fumble. And another crucial turnover by the BC Lions.
Oh, Mike Riley throws the strike. Courtney Taylor with a big catch over the shoulder. But Quincy Butler starts battling. Right away, there he comes. Right hand comes in, rips the ball free as Taylor's on his way down.
That was a 56-yard gain for Taylor.
And just make sure the left knee of Taylor wasn't down before that ball popped out.
Benavides is looking at it, but will not throw the challenge flag, and so Calgary has the football back at its 19-yard line. Had the flag in hand, but elected not to throw it. And now Kevin Glenn back the other way, fires, looking for Mo Price. He's got it. And a late flag thrown, 2 late flags. At the end of the play, Price is up to midfield. And we've got Price injured on the sidelines, may have collided with a propane heater. It was a gain of 36 yards.
Yeah, Maurice Price, he didn't just collide with the heater.
After the play, we have a major foul, unnecessary roughness in Calgary. We'll go back 15 yards from the end of the play. It is a first down.
No number given on that foul.
Well, the concern for the Calgary Stampeders right now isn't the 15-yard penalty. And when you see what exactly happened over on the BC sideline with Maurice Price, you'll understand exactly why. He doesn't just collide with the heater as he goes out of control, out of bounds. He slides right into the heater. That's the part where the flames are coming out, Gord.
And deep concern for Mo Price.
He was trying to get up and get himself out of the way when he would have been better had he just kind of stayed down and hit the lower part of that heater. You can see even the BC Lions players rushing over there to get him away from the heater as he slid into it.
Now John Huffman was going over to have a look.
Is proud to bring you this game. Watch the Ruffles team handing out potato chips after the game.
Concern for Mo Price will step away and return to Calgary in a moment.
The good news is that Calgary Stampeder receiver Maurice Price seems to be okay. They're checking out his neck over on the sidelines.
That could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, and he made it over there under his own power. But just so everybody understands, that's what Maurice Price just slid into. Head first into that flame.
15-yard penalty at the end of the play. Moves the Stamps back to the 40-yard line, and John Cornish just got buried on the tackle.
Looked like Anthony Reddick again. Guy who's delivered a couple of big hits here in the second half. Strong side linebacker out of University of Miami.
Likely didn't play in many games like this.
Long way from South Florida right now.
So a gain of 3 at 2nd and 7. Stampeders lead by 16 with 13 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Glenn throws, and close to the first down is R.J. Franklin, but Corey Banks and Ryan Phillips got a hand on him and likely held him short of a Calgary first down.
All the veterans in that secondary led by Corey Banks. Perennial all-star at halfback.
Another guy used to play in Ottawa. The month in which it's announced that the CFL will return to Ottawa in 2014. And Maverick forced a punt. And this time keeps it on the ground, and Brown takes it at the 22-yard line and gets tripped up there. There's a good special teams tackle made by Quincy Butler.
His way with Dr. Jim Thorne into the Calgary Stampeder locker room to get further medical attention.
BC takes over. 1st and 10 from the 24. Here comes the rush. Riley throws, and the pass is caught by Andrew Harris. He gets a gain of maybe a couple.
Juwan Simpson, the middle linebacker, right there with Harris on that play. Well aware of what number 33 means to the BC Lions passing game.
By the way, Harris, the 9th Canadian running back to record a 1,000-yard season. The last Canadian to lead the league in rushing was, of course, Orville Lee for Ottawa back in 1988.
His son Jamal, a former teammate of Andrew Harris, is with the BC Lions.
Riley pump fakes, and he gets dropped. Charleston Hughes, the CFL's number 2 sack man, has his 11th of the year.
Well, keeping pace with Karan Williams. Williams recorded one earlier in this ball game for the Lions. Now here comes number 39, Charleston Hughes. Working against a pretty good one in Javon Olafioye, but just beats him to the outside. He's got outside support with Tad Cornegay, the linebacker, and contained. That gives Hughes a two-way go on the offensive tackle. Puts him in a tough situation trying to block.
McCallum's kick is a good one. Armstead back at the 47-yard line. Flags are down, and Armstead gets pushed out of bounds after a return of 8. Back to Calgary and Wendy's Friday Night Football after this. Kevin Glenn of the Calgary Stampeders had a first half for the ages. Took a 34-0 lead. Now lead 37-21 with 10:21 to go in the fourth quarter.
Expect to see a lot of John Cornish in the running game here for the Calgary Stampeders. Keep that clock running in the fourth. Play
fake to Cornish, and they fired out to Armstead, who is wrapped up quickly by Parker. Here's Jermaine Franklin with an update for us.
Thanks, Gord. The Stampeders did take Maurice Price into the room to check him out for precautionary reasons. Now, they were originally worried that he suffered some burns, as we saw that he went directly into that heater, but that's not the case. He did hit his head and his shoulder area, so they took him inside to check him out.
All right, thank you, Jermaine. That's good news.
A very scary moment over on that sideline. Never seen it happen before. You always see those heaters on the sidelines, but first time I've ever seen a player at risk.
Second down, Glenn looking deep, and the pass is caught. What a catch by Arthur. Jabari Arthur, just his 5th reception of the year, over the shoulder, makes the grab. And the gain is 30 yards and a Calgary first down.
And this is a glimpse of what the Calgary Stampeders were looking for from Jabari Arthur when they took this young man in the first round of the draft back in 2007. A guy who's a potential big play receiver, big target, makes the tough catches. He's just battled injuries throughout his career. If he can stay healthy and get on a roll, adds another weapon to that offense.
Now Cornish being tracked down by Big Hill, who gets a hand on him and trips him up for a loss of 2.
You get another look at the underrated speed of middle linebacker Adam Big Hill. John Cornish had him out flanked, but Big Hill gets on his horse and tracks down the Stampeder running back from behind on this play.
And Big Hill with 8 tackles and 2 sacks. And you know, a lot of people feel that tackles are not an accurate statistic because a tackle 20 yards down the field is the same as that. That is an important tackle.
It sure is. And that's where we tend to see Adam Big Hill making his plays.
Timeout, Calgary.
So not the right personnel on the field, and they'll have to talk it over. 8:04 to go in the 4th quarter. Calgary wraps up the regular season in Edmonton next week. BC will be home to Saskatchewan. And still lots of question marks about who's going where in the Canadian Football League playoffs. Nobody's out yet.
No, and it's for as tough a year as it's been for some teams. It says a lot about how competitive things are, that everybody's in the mix.
Glenn throws, and that pass was tipped. As Anton McKenzie got a hand on that. It'll be 3rd down, and now decision time for Hufnagel. And it is the field goal unit will come on as Paredes comes on with the wind at his back.
Anton McKenzie, usually the weak side linebacker, lines up inside on this one. Spying quarterback Kevin Glenn the whole way to get his mitts on that one. A 46-yard attempt coming here from Rene Paredes.
Made one from there earlier to equal his season long.
The always dangerous Tim Brown in the end zone.
That's right. No danger when you put it through. And there's 40 points on the board for Calgary.
Professionals, we salute you. The ones who take on many roles to get every job done the right way. The professional workhorses. The professional earth movers. The professional power generators. So if you're the type that wants to do everything like a professional, then stop driving an amateur's truck. The GMC Sierra HD. We are professional grade.
Okay for the bride?
You're a lifesaver. Where did you get these?
I borrowed them.
And I needed something borrowed too. Thank you.
Anytime.
WestJet Vacations, #1 in customer satisfaction for a reason. Because owners care. And it shows.
Rated M for mature.
The time is now at hand, which must determine whether Americans are to be free men or slaves. Assassin's Creed 3.
Get 4 exclusive Assassin's Creed 3 missions, only on PlayStation 3.
PlayStation.
Don't tell John Hufnagel this game means nothing.
No, he's calmed down over on the sidelines now, but this was his reaction moments ago to that 46-yard Paradis field goal.
He said good 4 times.
Pretty fired up over there. Looking to put this one away against the BC Lions.
And now Thomas DeMarco, look out, the third quarterback for BC is in. And Sean Gore goes away offside.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to say that that's because he's not used to Thomas DeMarco's cadence, but...
Offside, BC number 85. 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
I'd say Sean Gore was far enough offside on that one that he just forgot the snap counts.
DeMarco, in his first year out of Old Dominion, has not thrown a pass so far this season. Old Dominion in Norfolk, Virginia. Big Navy town. And there's DeMarco's first pass. It's caught by G-Roy Simon. You can do worse than throwing to G-Roy, and that'll get them back to the original line of scrimmage.
Well, Thomas DeMarco, the quarterback, as Old Dominion started what was a brand new Division I football program. See G-Roy Simon go down to get that one.
Second down, fires, that pass is complete. And Gore has it for a first down out to the BC 50-yard line.
The Lions get a completion on the play. Well, you see Charleston Hughes. Andrew Harris is going to come up to help out his offensive tackle on the play. Hughes goes, forget the 300-pounder Javon Olafiore. I'm taking this guy first.
Put him in the end zone. First down BC at the 51-yard line. 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. DeMarco fakes to Harris and throws incomplete for Gore. So we've seen everyone but Travis Lulay in this game. Lulay is dressed, but won't play this week. We'll likely see him for part of the game next week against Saskatchewan.
Yeah, just enough to get sharp, especially with the Lions having that first round bye wrapped up. You don't want to have too long a stretch of inactivity from your starting quarterback.
On second down, here comes the rush, and DeMarco gets dropped. Brandon Smith was there first, Juwan Simpson as well.
And Thomas DeMarco gets his welcome to the CFL moment as the Calgary Stampeders record their 8th sack of the ball game.
Twice as many, Dwayne, as BC's allowed in any other game this year.
And Juwan Simpson wasn't even part of the blitz. He just stepped up late to get in on things along with Brandon Smith.
Armstead takes the kick back at his 27-yard line and gets wrapped up right away. So the book is presumably closed on Mike Riley. 19 for 26, 261 yards and a touchdown. What doesn't show up there is the early fumble that put his team in a deep hole and 2 near interceptions that were dropped.
Yeah, very rocky start for Mike Riley in this ball game. but still able to salvage some positives out of it. I think, again, Mike Riley showed the kind of resiliency you want. We saw some moments of leadership from Riley in this football game, but just unable to overcome what was an atrocious start for him and for the entire BC Lions team.
The team took the first 10 penalties of the game. And John Cornish out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line before he's wrapped up. Boy, two remarkable programs here, though, Dwayne, when you think about it. The Calgary Stampeders in the playoffs for the 8th straight year. BC in for the 16th consecutive season. The Montreal Alouettes have made the playoffs for 17 consecutive years.
Yeah, flagships out here in the West, though, and you know, you look at it. We showed Wally Buono on camera earlier. Well, here you've got two of his former coordinators leading the top two teams in the West. Mike Benavides, longtime defensive coordinator with the Lions. John Hufnagel, of course, former offensive coordinator under Buono here in Calgary.
And John Cornish with another good run up to the 49-yard line for a gain of 13 yards. And for Cornish, now at 83 yards rushing in the game.
Yeah, John Cornish continues to inch closer and closer to Normie Kwong's single-season rushing mark by a Canadian. That pulls him to within 53.
Boy, big change from the first meeting with BC when he was held to -1 rushing. And gets the ball again. And this time, Maurice Evans wraps him up quickly, and we have reached the 3-minute warning in Calgary, and the Stampeders comfortably in front, 40-21 on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Back in Calgary on this Friday night with the Stampeders enjoying a 19-point lead, and John Cornish moving up the rushing list and chasing down a mark that stood since 1956. He's out of the ball game right now as Matt Walters in, and Drew Tate is back in the game for Calgary. From the 50-yard line, and here is the former UFC Dino pushed out of bounds. And Nick Lewis on the sidelines. A chance to talk to Blake Nill, the head coach of the Calgary Dinosaurs yesterday. His team is right in the thick of the race for the #1 ranking in the CIS as well.
Yeah, currently ranked #3. They got bumped down a spot after being upset last weekend in Regina by the U of R Rams. The Dinos will go back to work this weekend, facing the Manitoba Bisons here at McMahon tomorrow.
And of course, as part of the Grey Cup festivities will be the Vanier Cup on the Friday night in Toronto. After last year, tough to top that one.
Yeah, tough act to follow.
Could be the same two teams, though. Laval and Master both look good.
Possibility. A lot of last year's contenders, the Final Four, all kind of looking for repeats within their respective conferences.
Oh, what a kick by Maver. Right over the head of Tim Brown and down into the end zone. And it rolls around down there, and BC will give it a single. 63-yard punt by Maver. Well, tonight's game story is brought to you by Mr. Lube. Get top-to-bottom maintenance and take good care. Calgary scored 24 points in the first 9 minutes of the game, and there's your difference. BC came back somewhat, but Anwar Stewart's turned back the clock a little bit with 4 quarterback sacks, and G. Roy Simon has his 100th career touchdown reception.
Very eventful night here at McMahon Stadium.
And a little bit of everything. This really the start for Calgary. I mean, the Stampeders are known to have good first quarters, but not like that. Arco remains in a quarterback for BC. And gives to Harris. And a couple for Andrew Harris, who never really got a chance to get on track in this game. His team was down so early.
Well, it's surprising, really, that they didn't lean on him more in the early going. Started off against the wind in that first quarter. Harris, a guy who leads this team in both receiving and obviously in rushing. But the Lions came out gunslinging a little bit and found themselves in an early hole.
DeMarco throws, and the pass is caught by Paris Jackson at midfield for a BC first down.
Now opportunity at this stage of this game, and I'm sure we'll see a little more of the same next week from these two teams that have solidified their playoff position, is starting to see everybody getting an opportunity to play.
You know, you talked about the Wally Buono, John Hufnagel connection and the work they did together in Calgary, and of course Hufnagel remaining here and Buono on to BC. One thing they've done is bring lots of great quarterbacks into the Canadian Football League.
Oh, they sure have. Think back over the years. They arrived here in 1990. Danny Barrett was the starting quarterback. Got the Calgary Stampeders to a Grey Cup game in '91. Then, of course, came Doug Flutie, followed by Jeff Garcia, Dave Dickinson, Henry Burris. Marcus Crandall won a Grey Cup during his time as the Stampeders quarterback.
On the BC side, of course, Travis Lulay has established himself as a top-flight quarterback in the Canadian Football League.
Well, Buck Pearson, Jarius Jackson also getting their starts in BC behind Dave Dickinson in his time in black and orange.
And we should mention that one common thread through all of that, as that ball is batted up in the air, is Roy Shivers, who has been at Wally Buono's side almost the entire time that Wally's been in the league. There's been a couple of side trips for Roy, but he is an expert at identifying talent.
Oh, he sure is. One of the great talent hawks in CFL history. See the Lions general manager, Wally Buono. All-time winningest coach in Canadian Football League history.
McCallum takes that low snap. And here is Armstead from the 15. And wrapped up on a terrific special teams play by Lynn J. Shell. So Calgary gets the ball back with 1:18 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Stamps will end 2 droughts against BC and a 4-game losing streak overall and a 4-game losing streak here at McMahon Stadium. They'll record their first win over the Lions since 2009.
And it's a series that's gone back and forth since John Hufnagel returned to the CFL in 2008 and took over the helm of this Calgary team. Calgary dominated the series through that 2008 season.
And the last time they met in the playoffs was that 2008 season when Calgary beat BC en route to the Grey Cup. The two worst of the Calgary-BC West final matchup. And now Walter busting through. What a run from Matt Walter.
Well, just when you think you're going to get a break with John Cornish out of the game, in comes a running back in Matt Walter, who actually averages more yards per carry than Cornish does. Perennial All-Canadian during his time with the UFC Dinos. Picks up 32 on that run. Calgary native.
And the clock running under a minute. Here's Walter again. This time he gets tripped up by Jabbar Westerman.
Well, you've got a guy like Matt Walter. For anybody who thinks that the Canadian running back trend is just a fad that is going to go away in a few years, you've got guys like Matt Walter and many more very talented young Canadians on the way, ready to take over at skill positions.
Walter again. And Westerman throws him down again. With 21 seconds to go in the fourth. You know, and we talked about it before, Dwayne, but the fact is, although BC will go home and say this game didn't mean anything in the standings, the Calgary Stampeders will look at this, if they were to meet BC in the West Final, as an important step.
Yeah, absolutely. The Calgary Stampeders gain a little bit of confidence against a team that they have struggled to beat over the course of the last couple of seasons. It means a great deal. Got off to that great start, and yes, Travis Lulay didn't play for BC, but Mike Riley is a capable quarterback.
Walter again fumbles this time, and the ball bounces back to Tate, who falls on it as time expires. And the BC Lions fall to Calgary 41-21 as John Huffnagel's team avoids a series sweep at the hands of the Lions. For Jermaine Franklin and Dwayne Ford, I'm Gord Miller. Thanks for tuning in from Calgary.